Welcome back to Chronicle. This morning, a conversation with OPS Superintendent Matt Ray. One challenge most schools across the country are dealing with is staffing. But OPS shows the number of paraprofessionals and substitute teachers is rising. Once again, here's Quinicia Fraser.
It's a back-to-school ritual for every teacher.
Yeah, they was brand new out the box.
Getting the classroom ready for the new year.
And that'll be like the social-emotional section.
Malia Jones is doing it with the help of her mother.
She adopted 5. I am one of them. So she has inspired me. And she had me working with kids at the age of 13. So I just knew right there that was my purpose, to help people grow just like she helped me grow.
Both mother and daughter worked as paraprofessionals.
It'll be 25 years in October.
Until now, that is, because Jones is starting her first year as a teacher. She's at Lothrop Elementary, a school both she and her mom attended.
It's one of life's greatest gifts, knowing that I am going to help our children in our community as the community had helped me when I was growing up.
It's an exciting time, not just for Jones, but also for the Omaha Public School District. At the start of the 2023-24 school year, they had 806 full-time paraprofessionals. Now they have 1,239, a more than 50% increase. Why do you think we've seen this increase?
Well, I think we have been working really hard to recover from some significant shortages that we've had over the years.
OPS Chief Talent Officer Dr. Colette Nero cites one major step they've taken.
We've really increased our wages to try to make sure we stay competitive.
For example, for a starting paraprofessional, the wage was $14.86 an hour for the 2023-24 school year. That same position will start at $18.90 an hour for the 2025-26 school year.
We have individuals who've wanted to contribute to education and be a part of the development of young people. And now they can do that and it actually be possible for them to live off of it or to financially sustain themselves from that.
For veterans like Jones's mother, Sharon Price, the increase is welcome news.
We have fallen short of a lot of educators and paras, and the work became a little harder for myself.
Jones and Prince are happy to see more take up the charge to be there for the next generation, because at the end of the day,
it takes a village, and I feel like our village is growing, and that impact is just going to help our kids.
At Lothrop Elementary, Quinicia Fraser, KETV.
According to OPS, they've hired more than 1,000 new staff members since August of 2024, including teachers, paraeducators, special ed, and transportation jobs. I asked Superintendent Ray his thoughts on that growth.
Well, it's amazing. When we talked last time, I think I talked about 5 years. I never thought we'd be where we're at right now. I mean, this year, I think we're almost 1,100 more staff members than we were the previous year. I would have never thought we were at this point. It's just not one thing, but I think what you're seeing too is mission. There's people see a mission in the Omaha Public Schools. People see a goal, and pay is part of it, sure, but it's just not that. Pay doesn't necessarily keep people in a school district. Pay is not the only thing. I think people are seeing a school district that knows where it's going, and is focused and knows where they're going to end up. And I think that keeps people, and I think it recruits people. And I'm so pleased with where we're at. And now, that doesn't mean that a teacher that's in a classroom with 28 kids doesn't feel a way or doesn't feel that they need more teachers. But we're making progress. And the fact that we have that many more employees this school year is amazing. And it's the work of talent services, it's the work of principals, it's the work of the recruiting team, it's the organization. We're all recruiters, and I'm so pleased that we're at that point.
According to the OPS budget presentation, about 75% of the proposed $850 million general fund budget goes to salaries and benefits. OPS will consider supporting an increase in property taxes. You think the public will go for that?
We don't take that, we take that very seriously. I mean, we don't take that lightly. And we know that going to our public and asking for more money is a big thing. But we also know that almost 80%, 75 to 80% is people. But we also have to consider that we have over 100 campuses and that we have some of the oldest buildings in the state. You know, we have buildings that are 160 years old. And if you think of your own home and how much maintenance you have on your own home, but think of Central High School and how old Central High School is, and the maintenance it takes on a building, and heating and you know, the HVAC system or the boilers. It's also about maintaining the schools that your students are in. 100 campuses, some of the oldest buildings in the state. So in addition to staff, it's also maintaining the organization and the grounds that we have. So we don't take this lightly. We also have to maintain the organization.
Let me ask you about a couple societal issues. An Iowa teacher was sued about comments he made on his personal Facebook page after Charlie Kirk's assassination. He's now suing his district because he was fired. What's OPS policy on teachers, students, and free speech?
Yeah, so we did have a few situations pop up where, and it's not new. Like we've responded to before to staff members, not just teachers, but staff members of what they do on their own personal accounts. What we're very aware of is what people do on school district time, school district resources. We don't generally monitor people's personal individual accounts. The connection is what happens of what a staff member does on their personal account and what's the connection to school, or what's the impact on school by that. So we don't control somebody's own individual account of what they do at home or what they do on their free time unless there's an impact at school.
Another issue, the ICE raid at Glen Valley Foods. From an education standpoint, what's been the impact on students and staff?
So, you know, June was an interesting month. June was a hard month for families, for staff. And we were in summer school during that time period. And it was a time of chasing rumors. It was a time of speculation. It was a time of fear. And we spent time chasing those rumors and trying to figure out who was impacted and when they were impacted. And we followed up with the families that we knew were impacted, and we're still doing that today. So if we know that a family's being impacted, that's where we're engaging our social workers and our teams to support families.
Coming up, how Matt Ray would grade himself as superintendent.